Hey, what's up, man? I got a great interview today. California, you moved your family down because the area you was in, folks were getting killed on the street. Your kids couldn't
Yes.
go outside and play.
Nah.
It was just a disaster. So before we hop into that, well, this is Gerald. Moved his family here. How long y'all been here now?
A few days ago made 1 year.
It's hard to believe y'all here a year ago.
I would never have thought I would be moving to Mexico.
How did that happen?
You know
The whole story from the beginning.
Oh, the whole story. So my wife is always like, she's from Oaxaca.
Okay.
And so she's always wanted to move to Mexico. And I always told her, I said, listen, you could go, I'm staying put. You know, I'm American, I don't know anybody there. You know, my Spanish isn't all that perfect. It's not gonna work out for me, you know what I mean? I like being, you know, where I know I'm familiar with everything. And so she's like, there's this black dude on YouTube named Cortez, and he does a lot of videos. He lives in Mexico. So I'm like, all right, good for him, you know, to each his own, you know. And so, you know, she's always watching your videos. She's been watching your videos for like a year before I even watched them. And so I finally looked at the videos. I seen all the information that you were putting out.
Gracias.
And I thought about it like, wow, this is interesting, you know what I mean? So I looked at the videos and, you know, before I knew it, we did our consultation. And it went really well. Service here is good, by the way, you know. This is the Mexican life. It's nothing like America.
We've been walking, and so we ordered a bunch of drinks, and this particular place that we're at, as long as you order some drinks, they'll bring out all this table food. It's kind of might be hard for y'all to see it, but it's free. It's a lot. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I watched a couple of your videos, made the consultation, and when I made the consultation, I really wasn't serious about, you know, moving to Mexico.
I felt that too. You know what? I thought you were well, you know what? I think you were for real, but you just had pushed it out further down the road.
I did. And I'm gonna talk about that too. So you sent me a listing of all the houses that they had down here. And living in Los Angeles, the housing market is so expensive. Like, we were living in South LA, and to rent out a 2-bedroom in South LA was already like $2,200-$2,300.
Ouch.
Right? But here, you can get a house. I mean, to buy a house in a hood is over $1 million. You're gonna spend over $1 million in a hood in Los Angeles to buy a house. Here, you can buy a house for as little as, what, 70, 80 grand.
Yeah.
In a beautiful neighborhood with a pool, a couple of bedrooms, and a piece of land.
Yeah.
And I was amazed in where we lived at. I always told myself, you know, I'm not gonna raise my kids in South Los Angeles because it's so dangerous. And I'm gonna fast forward a little bit ahead. I'm just gonna put this side note. After we moved in August of 2025, within a year after we moved, we already have 4 murders that happened right outside our apartment building. 4 murders, like shot in the street, dead.
In front of the place y'all were living in.
That made the news. I'm talking white sheet over them, recognizing neighbors in the news footage.
Wow.
All that. And so I was like, wow, this is the hand of God. Going backwards, right? So, you know, Cortez's services were tremendous. I didn't even do, you know, I'd recommend you do a walkthrough, but I didn't even do a walkthrough. He took care of everything, made sure that the power was cut on, the internet. When we first got there, took us around shopping, made sure we had all our goods. And, you know, I made the step when I realized that in Los Angeles, the cost of living was just going way through the roof. You know, I'm talking car notes, I'm talking rent, I'm talking insurance, I'm talking the price of groceries, the price of gas, the price of, you know, the children's needs, the electricity bill. Everything was going through the roof, you know, and I was running a property management firm. I was also running a cleaning business. So we were doing well, we were making a lot of money, but for some reason we just couldn't. The cost of living in Los Angeles, you can't get out the ghetto. And the people who are living in the suburbs, they kind of got grandfathered into it. They inherited it from somebody who had it when the prices were low. So pretty much everybody's just stuck where they're at, no matter how much money you were making or how much money you were not making. And I looked at the cost of living in Mexico. It was affordable, it was realistic, and I could give my family the life here that I never could there. And it's funny because here I coach a football team, which I always wanted to do. I do social media marketing. I'm able to make movies. My kids are able to live in a suburban neighborhood that has zero crime. I'm talking literally zero crime. Now here and there, you may have somebody who may try to steal an apple out of the, the grocery store, whatever, but the old people walk here at night. I left my house doors wide open for a year and went to sleep at night. You can literally leave your cell phone on a table within the food court in a packed mall and it will still be there. And it was just unrealistic to me. And to this day, when I walk around the Pravada that I live in, and when I walk around some parts of Merida, it just still feels like a dream because I can't believe this place is that tranquil. You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem realistic. So I definitely appreciate, you being here, because if you were not on YouTube, I wouldn't have done it. Because a lot of people could say, well, look, this guy's saying this, but when you see another brother in the video talking about my life is peaceful here, then I believe it. You see what I'm saying? If another Mexican was saying it, then, well, you're Mexican, you're at home. But when you see another brother saying it, and people have a lot to say about Mexico, but what I realize is that Mexico, if you're black, they give you a whole lot of opportunities here that you would never get in the United States. And I say that because I've been here for a year and I lived it. So that's my story, man. Everything that was shut to me in the United States is wide open here in Mexico. So, they talk about the American dream. The Mexican dream is the real dream. And it's very attainable, it's realistic. You can buy a home, you can buy cars, you can buy land, you can live autonomous, you can live off the grid. The police don't harass you, the police don't bother you. It's I still can't believe the experience that I'm having. Wow. It's that phenomenal.
Wow.
It's that phenomenal.
You just reminded me when you were talking about the walkthrough.
Right.
Because I found the house for you all before you even came. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to be in a position when they arrived, they could just move straight into the house. And so they spent one night at the hotel, and I picked them up that morning. We went to go sign the contract, and they got the keys. So essentially, I sent them a bunch of properties beforehand, asked them which ones they wanted to go see. I took my camera and we did a live, and we walked through the house, walked through the neighborhood, let them see the area. And out of all the homes that they saw, they picked one. We paid a deposit on their behalf and signed the contract when they arrived, the day after they arrived. The neighborhood. So for those who don't know what a pravada is, I'll let you explain it and talk about, because I remember you were saying the only place your kids could play in California was on y'all's balcony.
Right.
And now y'all have a whole neighborhood.
Yes. So where we lived in South LA, we lived by Century in Vermont. And it was so bad there that our kids never went outside. We had a little balcony in the back. We had a little bit of a rubber blow-up pool, and they would use that on a balcony as their pool, or they would use the bathtub as their pool. Here we have a 2-story house with a pool. You see what I'm saying? We have a park within our Pravada, and our Pravada is like a gated community, right? And it's very affordable. Gated communities in the United States are very expensive. Gated communities here in Mexico are very affordable because you're using a US dollar. So our kids can literally just walk up and down the streets, and if your kid goes to like the gate, the guards will literally bring them back. You see what I'm saying? So you get to know all the people that live in your Pravada. You become all like family. You're going over their house, they're going over your house, and there's no race. It's not racist. People like to say, oh, well, you go to Mexico, it's racist. Here, it's not. We haven't experienced any racism. We haven't at all. Now people may stare at you, and it's not because they're being disrespectful, but it's because they're not used to seeing, a lot of black people. They're curious. It's more like a curiosity more than something like, why are you here? It's not like a why are you here. It's more like, wow, did you see. So they're very, very curious because it's not often, they see an African American or anybody black per se.
Wow. So your kids got friends, your wife,
Lots of friends.
and your wife seems to know everybody.
Yes. So the thing is, in our provider, our second day here, literally all the kids in the provider came together with bags of candy to welcome my kids into the neighborhood.
Really?
That's how, yes.
Wow.
Because the mannerisms here in the Yucatan are very different. These people are not ghetto. They may not be rich, but they have manners. You see what I'm saying? A lot of them are very educated. So, as having black kids, having half black, half Hispanic kids, but they primarily look black, they were welcomed very much. And the people often stop and stare and they ask questions and, they're curious and they smile and they're very hospitable here. Very hospitable.
Wow. So in 1 year, you managed to, I ain't gonna lie, you managed to accomplish a lot. Una más, por favor. See, you managed to, you're coaching a football team, so American football. How did that happen? And this is a Mexican team, right?
Yes, they're all Mexican. But they play American football. So I seen an ad within one of the Facebook expats groups, and the owner of the team, he was looking for a coach. He was doing a coaching, and he was looking for somebody who has experience in the game. And I responded to it, and the whole team has welcomed me, with open arms. They call me sir. There's a lot of respect there. They respect my authority. They respect my instructions. So it's very, very good experience. I've always wanted to coach a football team, but life didn't gear me towards that. But here, out of nowhere, the opportunity fell in my lap. And that's what you'll realize about Mexico. You'll realize a lot of the dreams that you had that may have died, all of a sudden get reawakened here. Like, I've always wanted to make films. I moved to Los Angeles to make movies, but when I had my daughter, I had to shelve that. Now here, I have all the time in the world to get on the computer, use the AI program, and make all the movies I want and put them online. You see what I'm saying? You've seen some of them.
Yeah, I'm blown away.
And these are movies that you can make. So I have the time. I spend time with my family. I can pursue my dreams. You can get online, go to school. You can do a lot of things here, because what you'll realize about Merida, they need a lot of help. You see what I'm saying? You can literally go, if you have police experience, you can literally go to the local police department and say, I have police experience in the United States. I would like to work with your local police department. And they'll bring you in. If you want to, purchase land, if you want to build, different infrastructure here, you can go to the local government and say, listen, I'm from the United States. I have experience in infrastructure. I want to be a part. I want to assist. And they'll welcome you in. Anything that you want to build, anything that you want to do, it's open. Nobody's stopping you. There's no red tape. Go there and make it happen. Here is really no excuses. Anything you want to do, you can make it happen.
Because right now, you talk English.
Yes. I also taught English at a university, and I'm not even a professor. This is how crazy it is. Like, the most esteemed levels in the United States is literally here for you. All you got to do is just walk in and say, I can do. And these people will welcome you in and say, join us, get in. You know what I mean? Wow. And so there's a lot of opportunity here.
Any surprises or anything that shocked you when you first arrived, based on what you've been told versus what you saw when you actually arrived in Mexico?
I was surprised at how developed a lot of Merida is, this part of Mexico. They have the biggest malls I've ever seen. These malls literally have ice skating rinks inside of them, casinos inside of them, roller derbies inside of them. And their malls are always packed. The malls in America are dying.
Yeah.
I've seen franchises here.
Total bien. Gracias. Thank you. Mucho.
I've seen franchises here that are alive but are dead in the United States. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of franchises that closed in the United States, but they're here. I was like, oh my God, they closed that in the United States. But they're here in Merida. A lot of restaurants, a lot of, fast food chains, a lot of store chains are here in Merida. I was like, wait a minute, they closed that in the United States like 2 years ago. But they're here in Merida.
Yep.
And so I was also surprised at how peaceful it was. The city literally opens up at night. And you'll see old people sitting outside, walking down the street. People usually do that because of the heat during the day. And we'll talk about some of the things that will really shock you here, but for the positives, it's very peaceful. You can literally walk down the street. You can go to the ATM at night. You can count your money at night.
Open view.
Yeah, an open view in the ATM. Thousands and 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 thousands.
Not $30.
Yeah.
A big wad of money.
A big wad of cash.
And nobody even gonna look at you twice.
Yeah, right. At night at a packed ATM. At night. And usually I'd be like, oh my God, are you crazy?
Yeah.
But no, that's the norm here. And it's women out there getting wads of cash at night. Because thievery is just something people just don't do.
Nah.
They
will beat you down in the street.
Yeah.
Not to say that it don't happen.
Right.
If they catch you,
they
gonna handle it themselves.
Yeah, they're old school with it. If they catch you pulling that out here, man, there's a reason why people just don't do it out here.
Yeah.
They've made some examples out of people who came out here from other parts and wanted to pull that, and the whole community will literally get together and put, B to A. I don't want to curse on your video.
They will. I mean, even to the point when if the police are doing you wrong,
right,
they'll come out and jump on the police.
Oh, they get the police. So what you have to understand about Mexico is, in the United States, the police run things. Here in Mexico, the people run the police. So if the people feel like the police aren't doing what they're supposed to do, they will literally get him out of his truck and literally handle him the way the police handle people in America. So it's reverse here. The police are afraid of the people here because the people understand they have the power.
Yeah.
And if you're a politician and the people feel like you're not doing your job, the people feel like you're stealing, the people will fire you on the spot. And it will be in the most egregious and painful way. And I'll put it to you like that.
Wow.
Now, I'll say this. If you're an expat here, don't come down to Mexico and think you're going to pull your American weight on these people. You understand? You will be in for a rude awakening. How you lived, and I never understood it till I moved, because people used to always say, well, how you lived in America, you gotta keep that in America. Don't try to bring it down here. I now understand from watching other expats who came down here and tried to act fool, right? And realized the hard way that you're here in Mexico. All right, so I always advise, at least at a beginner's level, try to learn the language. And if you do decide to move here, and you don't speak the language, don't get upset because they don't speak English.
Yeah.
You understand? So show respect. Everything is about respect. Don't come down here and get loud, belligerent, ghetto, all that stuff, because these people, they don't play any of that stuff down here. And they're not going to tolerate it. Here in Merida, I haven't seen anybody screaming in public. I haven't seen anybody fighting in public. I haven't seen anybody, throwing I haven't seen any of that because these people, their culture, number one, they don't accept it. And number two, it's frowned upon here. And it doesn't make sense for you to act in a belligerent manner. So if that's your personality or if that's your character, don't come down here. And if you're one of our people doing that, don't come down here because we don't need any embarrassment. We represent ourselves well here. We represent ourselves with, respect. We conduct ourselves with honor. So please, if you have a ghetto mentality, if you're loud, boisterous, disrespectful, you want to act out in public, please stay in the United States. Because we have a reputation down here as being a respectful people. Black people down here, we have a reputation. I didn't mean to make it about race, but we have a reputation down here as being very respectful, kind, compassionate, and we have a lot of dignity, and we try to maintain that down here the best we can.
Absolutely. Wow. Man. What do you have a lot of expat friends? Any advice to somebody when they first move here? Should they try and make more local friends, hook up with other expats and foreigners? What has been your experience dealing with either side?
I have more friends that are natives and locals than I do expat friends. Now I'm gonna tell you why. There's certain times when you'll be in certain situations, like you need to know what's the best doctors, which doctors to hire, which ones to stay away from. You may want to bring your kids to certain schools or certain hospitals. You may want to know where food is cheaper, because some places will try to get you on the gringo tags. So if you have friends that are local, they'll point you in the right direction. They'll tell you where to get cheaper foods, cheaper clothes, cheaper restaurants, cheaper hospitals, medications. And a hospital system and the medical system is very good, by the way. Doctors' visits are very cheap. Doctors' visits can be held at night. Doctors can visit your home. They can bring your medications. These are things that are unheard of in America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the pharmacies, or what do they call it? Not the pharmacy. The pharmacies and the what's the walk-ins? What do they call them when you want to walk in and see a doctor? I forget what they're called.
Medical consultant, medical.
Yeah, if you need to see a doctor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they're open. And that's crazy to me, because with doctors, it's like, man, you got to wait till the sunrise. You got to wait till business hours. Here, they always got a physician on standby. And if need be, if you can't get to him, they'll drive to you. They'll bring your medications to you, and they're very affordable.
Yeah, and the medical care, I mean, it's great. I mean, one of the benefits, I have 3 daughters, and if you need to schedule a gynecology appointment, you can do that on a Sunday afternoon.
Right.
You can do it on a Monday night at 8 p.m.
Right.
It's not normal hours from like 7 to 3. Any time of the day, you can schedule an appointment, go through the app. You can schedule an appointment the same day, a few hours. The other day, I had one of my teeth in my back broke in half at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh,
And-
I know that's.
Yeah, I was looking for a dentist to go see in the morning,
Oh,
and then when
man.
I was looking for the one they see in the morning, they had 3 of them that was 24 hours a day.
Wow.
I sent him a message at 10:30 at night. He said, come see me at 12.
Cortez, I'm gonna tell you how valuable that is, because on 2 occasions I had a situation to where I had a wisdom tooth that was painful,
Yeah.
and I literally had to bear through it all night
Wow.
long. But here, man, they're just a phone call away. Oh my
Literally.
gosh, literally.
He said, be here
I
at
mean,
midnight. I was like, I'll be there at 12 o'clock.
And I'm gonna tell you something. There's some things here that you'll have to get adjusted to, and we'll go into that in a minute. But the benefits outweigh a lot of the negatives.
Yeah.
The benefits far outweigh. It's like you weigh it out and you're like, man, I'll stay. I'll stay. I mean, you're gonna have some days. There's gonna be some days to where you're gonna be like. But then when you in some situations and you need something quick, them benefits, you like, man, I'm glad, because if I was back in the States, I have to wait. I'd have to wait.
Wow. And you're right. I mean, we thought about leaving. We got to talking, sitting down, going over some things, and we were like, man, we got to start all over and learn this stuff again and find out our resources and connections and links. I'm like, you know what? It don't make no sense to do that all over again.
Right.
And everything is here.
And the thing is, it's so easy to build community here.
Very.
Especially with the locals are easier to build community with than the expats, to be honest with you. Because the locals are more trusting. It's days to where my car didn't work and they'll let you walk out, with your juices and your fruits.
Yeah.
They have places here to where they do your laundry, they pick up your laundry, do your laundry, and bring it back to you, fold it up. And if you don't have the money, they be like, we'll figure it out next time. You see what I'm saying? So these things don't exist to where you can run up a tab in America anymore. Here you can run up tabs, and if you take care of them, they'll take care of you.
Yeah.
They'll take care of you. They will look after you. You know, so the locals are very valuable. And if you don't speak Spanish that well, they understand. You know, but if you make an effort to at least try to meet them halfway, it's all good.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all good.
My kids, they got tabs around town.
Yes.
I'm like, y'all had the money. Y'all just like the idea of having a tab. You know what I mean? But like you say, the people, they're so trusting
Right.
first, you know, versus not being trustful. You know what I
Right.
mean? And they'll give you the shot until you blow it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's amazing. But yeah, they got themselves a little tab.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, all three of y'all got a tab?
Right.
Well, Daddy, I need to. I'm like, you know what? Y'all
But make sure you take care of these people, though.
Take care of 'em.
Because you know, don't leave them hanging. If they look after you, you know, take care of them. Give them a little extra. You know, because they looked after you.
Yeah.
You know, giving people a little extra will bring you a far ways here. Now, you know, there's a certain thing here in Merida about the trash, and they have a 2-bag limit. And sometimes, you know, you'll put 3 bags in there, and they'll take 2 and leave the 3rd, and it's like. But if you develop a rapport with the trash man, you wave at him, bring him a soda every now and then, give him a few pesos, he'll pick up 5-6 bags for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just how people operate down here. If you really take care of them, you know, they'll look after you. You know, they'll bend the rules for you. They'll curve things for you. It's all about taking care of them, and you'll be all right. This will be the best. I have the best life, literally. My life has never been as good. My life has never been as good. And I've made more money in the States than I do now. But the quality of life, the thought that I don't have to worry about a bullet passing by. I don't have to worry about getting robbed. I don't have to worry about, you know, somebody on drugs. You know, you don't really see homeless people here. You know what I mean? You really don't. I mean, it's rare you'll see a homeless person here. You know, I don't have to worry about somebody on drugs trying to, like, you know, do this, that, or whatever. You know, I have faith that my children can leave the Privada, walk all the way to Oxo, and come back.
Yes.
And Oxo is like a 15, 20-minute walk from my house. I have faith they'll walk there and they'll come back. Because people aren't looking to kidnap people in this part of Mexico. In this part of Mexico, it's different. It's not the Mexico you see on TV or you hear about, you know, in the news and stuff like that. None of that stuff goes down here. None of it. And there's a reason why, but you have to move here to find out. So I'm not going to give it away. But you have, I don't want to say that. But once you move here and you ask about it, you'll know why it's so peaceful here versus the rest of it. So that's something for you to figure out when you move here.
I know when I first moved here, I thought I would have to, I knew I would save money, but I thought I would have to rough it out.
Right.
Rough it out, get by, you know, be in a shady area, live underneath my means, and just barely get by.
Right.
It was the complete opposite. I was able to cut those expenses by 50-60%.
Yes.
While my quality of life was improved drastically.
Right.
And save all that money and be comfortable to the point where, you know, when I first got here, I was like, okay, we'll come here, we'll save our money, get on track for 7 years, and then we'll leave. But when I got here, it was like, I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How would you describe, I mean, do you find that to be the same for you? Your quality of life has improved or
Yes.
went backwards or stayed the same?
Drastically, it's improved. But I will say this, know your budget. Know your budget.
Yeah.
Know your budget. And if you come down here, align everything you do according to your budget. Because, you know, Mexico is one of those places where you can't get over your head because things are so cheap. You see what I'm saying? Because things are so cheap and affordable, you're like, I want to get this, and before you know it, you spent your way out. So if you know your budget and you have a little bit of discipline, you'll do well. You know your budget, be disciplined, and you will see that you're able to save money. My personal deal is, my life is a whole lot cheaper, but because things here are so cheap, I'm wrestling I'm wrestling with myself because things here are so cheap. I mean, it's like, you know, and it's so affordable. So know your budget. You know, if you're making, you know, $2,000 a month, there's places here to where you can live affordably on that budget. You see what I'm saying? You can go out a couple of nights a week. You can buy a few things here and there. You can enjoy life and be happy. You know, so it's all about budgeting, and that's wherever you live, even in the United States. Know your budget.
Yeah.
You know, you'll do as well as your budget allows, and with the right means, you'll be well. You'll do good.
The biggest thing, the problem I have with, the biggest challenge I have with people is convincing them that the lifestyle here is real.
Right.
I mean, right now we're at the beach, and you know, it's not so overcrowded. You can go out there, enjoy yourself. What would you say to people who don't believe that they can have a quality life in Mexico?
I didn't believe I could have a quality life in Mexico. Because, you know, when I thought of Mexico, I was thinking, you know, villages, poverty.
Yeah.
And that exists. That exists. I've seen that. You have that, you know, you have that here. But, you know, I've also seen some neighborhoods richer than anything I've seen in America. I mean, the hugest houses I've seen here in Merida. The biggest malls, the nicest cars. There's cars here that don't even exist in the United States. There's cars here that transform literally to heating beds.
Wow.
And it's like, wow, man. It's like you literally can lay down and the thing becomes a bed and it flattens out inside the car. And I'm like, and they're selling cars inside the mall.
Yeah.
And you know, you may say, well, Mexico is behind on a lot of things, but no, Mexico is advanced and they're ahead in a whole lot as well.
Yeah.
And that was a shocker. And I was like, wow. I was like, man, I never seen this stuff before. I never seen this kind of technology before. And, you know, the quality of life is just way better because a lot of the things that you will worry about in the United States, you don't have to worry about. Here in Mexico, like I used to worry. Some of my fears were this. I used to worry about, you know, the conditions that's happening right now with the war. Yeah. That's happening between the United States and Iran and how the United States is being targeted by its enemies. You know, here in Mexico, we're out the way. You know what I mean? Mexico don't got no beef with no Russia, Russia came down here, China came down here, Iran came down here during the World Cup. You know, Mexico showed them love. They showed Mexico love. Mexico don't got the beef the United States got. Yeah. So all those things I worried about hitting the United States and them wanting to turn off, you know, the electricity and poison in the water and the cyber stuff. Mexico don't got them. We don't have them problems down here. So if you're one of these prepper people and you're trying to, you know, prep up on food and save food and, you know, you gotta, in case we get hit or in case we don't got them problems down here. The people here grow food. You know, even if the electricity go out, the people don't get crazy and start robbing each other. The people here, I walk in my provider, I can pick fruit from my neighbor's tree and just be fed off of that. So if you're one of the prepper and you're part of the prepper community and you're like, man, you know, I'm worried about what's happening with the United States. I'm worried about, you know, the dollar or the economy, or, you know, I'm worried about if there's gonna be a food shortage. We ain't short nothing down here in Mexico. We ain't short no gas. We ain't short no oil. We not short no water because it rains during the rain season so much. You can literally get your own water and filter it, and you got your own water. You got your own food. You can grow food. You know, your neighbor's growing food. This person's growing food. There's a farm literally right up the street. There's no shortage of nothing here. So this is where it's at. This is where it's at. The black community is good down here. We good down here. We don't worry about no cops. We don't worry about no racism. We don't worry about gang violence. We don't worry about all this other nonsense. And the people who are on that type of nonsense, they get put out real quick. Yeah. So we don't have them problems down here. Me and Cortez, we chilling, we laid back, we at the beach. we living. It's all good. It's all good. You could be here too. You just gotta make the effort to get down here. You can live like this too, if you want to. Wow. You know, if you want to.
I know when we spoke on the phone for the consultation, I think you were planning to come a year out.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
what's keeping you from coming now? Like,
And-
because you could save money immediate,
Yes.
because I know you had a lot of expenses. I'm like, but if you come next month, you can cut those expenses by 50% in the next 30 days.
Cartessa, that was prophetic. I'm gonna tell you why. So my wife ain't gonna want me to say this, but she was living in the United States undocumented. And so at the time, you know, everything was chill. You know, Trump was in office. You know, yeah, we heard stuff, but everything was chill. We had no problems. Our business was good. Immigration situation was cool. ICE wasn't looking for nobody. So, you know, I told Cartess, I said, Cartess, look, I'm thinking about January. Now, this is back in June. I told Cartess, look, I'm thinking about January. Cartess was like, listen, you may want to get here now because by the time January comes, the prices is going to be a little bit higher. So I'm like, you know what? All right, so can I do September? He was like, man, I don't know, man. It may be 30 days. So I was like, all right, look, can I do August? He was like, listen, do August. I'll talk to the landlord. We'll hold it for you by August, which is something that usually doesn't happen. So this is why you need somebody like a Cartess, because he can work on your behalf in your absence. He can talk to these people and say, listen, can you remove this fee? Can you hold this? Because the properties here go so quickly. You know, they'll be on the market today and be gone tomorrow because everybody's trying to get here, and that's another story with immigration. We left in August. Right after we left, about 2 weeks later, ICE set up a station 2 streets over from where we lived at. It was catching our neighbors, we're catching our friends, and we're hunting down even some of the workers that I used to have on my crew.
Wow.
And that's when Trump started putting the clamps on Los Angeles. And they started rounding up everybody.
Ooh.
And they started looking for, because my wife has a driver's license. And now they're going through your bank accounts. They track people down, because if you have a bank account, even though you're illegal, you can still have a bank account and a driver's license. They're going to the DMV. They're going through Section 8. And people we knew that had all this stuff were getting rounded up. And we left just in time. And Cartess, that was a godsend, and that was prophetic, because if we waited till then, we would have got God.
Wow.
We would have got God. And another thing, I was able to get my permanent residency before January, because in December, that's when they changed the fees and they upped the fees. So we got it just in time. Now the fees are still affordable, but because so many people are seeing what's going on in America, and they're trying to come to Mexico now, Mexico's hip to it and saying, okay, we're gonna up things a little bit. Because people are realizing, the middle class is realizing I'm the lower class now.
Yeah.
The middle class is realizing I can't send my kids to college no more. The middle class is realizing no matter how much I work, I'm not making it. Here in Mexico, you can actually make it. You're rich here. We're the wealthy class here in Mexico. Our middle class, our middle to lower class is the upper class here. So if you're in the United States, you're like, man, I wonder how it is to be upper class here. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you how we're the upper class here. In my house, we all have people who do jobs for us. And, you know, let's just say the maintenance man, right?
Yeah.
In our house, they have something called the servant store. So they will not walk through your front door.
Yeah.
They will go through the side door, and you'll be like, man, come on inside. They're like, no, we can't, because, you know. And I'm like, what's wrong? Oh no, we'll go through the other door, the side door. They literally won't walk through because you're literally upper class.
Yeah.
And this is where the expats live. I'm not talking about this is not for the locals. This is for the expats. And so we're literally like the wealthy class here.
Yeah.
You know, they'll ask permission before they come in. They'll go through the side door until you tell them, listen, come inside.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, and it was weird to me because they're in a position I was at in the United States. When I had my cleaning company, I was just in a servant class, you know, going to these rich peoples in Beverly Hills and stuff like that. Now we're the Beverly Hills people, and, you know, it's just totally different here in Mexico, man. So when I tell you, if you're in the United States and you know you're the lower class here, we're the rich, literally, and we're not even making that much money.
Yeah,
and that's the crazy thing. We're making like lower the average, you know, and you could come out here making, you know, $20,000-$30,000 a year, $20,000-$30,000 a year, and you're the upper class.
Yeah, doing very well.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, it's just totally a culture shock for me.
I had a couple call me last week, married, 3 young children, and he wanted to know if they could be comfortable on $5,000 a month. USD.
Oh, $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Oh, absolutely.
I did do when I first got here. We were living on $1,800 a month.
That's doable too.
You know what I mean?
You know, you would just have to live. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this about, you know, Mexico or Merida. So there's some parts that are extremely wealthy.
Yeah.
Then there's some parts that are not, you know, extremely wealthy. Like the roads are a little bit, you know, the roads need paving, but the people are super cool.
Yeah, super.
Like you.
And safe.
Yes, and it's like the poor parts are actually like the safest parts. You know, you will think like, man, I would never live.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're on a budget of like $1,800 a month, you can live in a poor part, and it's like, man, your neighbors are cool. You know, they look out for you. You start to learn the people and the personalities and the fruterias, and you get used to it. At first, you're gonna be like, man, you know, these people, man, you know, their music and stuff. But after, and it's weird, because after a while, you're gonna wake up like, man, you know, I'm listening to, oh, that's so-and-so. Oh, that's, you know, that's senior so-and-so. Oh, that's senora so-and-so. Oh, you know, she's this type of way, he's that type of way. And, you know, before you know it, man, you done forgot about your life in America, and you're learning Spanish, and you guys are exchanging words, and you guys are sharing things, and, you know, you may look down on the standard of living that they have. It may seem poor, but you'll realize that you're enjoying life better than you did.
Oh, yeah.
It's funner. It's more enjoyable. You know, and the people are more enjoyable. The people are enjoyable to be around. You know, and if you're a guy, you know, and you know, you're single or whatever, oh, you'll find whatever you want. Or if you're a girl and you're single or what have you, you'll find somebody. You know, so a lot of people who, you know, and I'm hearing this from friends of mine, you know, a lot of people who say, you know, well, I've been having trouble, you know, finding people here and there. You know, you'll find it here because the mindset of people are extremely different.
What? Do you want to do what your Coke?
I'm fine. Water is good.
Another.
Oh no, this is perfect. So the mindset of people are different. You know what I mean? And so you'll realize that this is a fun place to be. It's a very fun place to be. Yes, there's some things that you'll find challenges with, like ordering a pizza, or you know, going to the bank, or you know, seeing everything in Spanish. But you can get translators here, you know, and there's Spanish classes here for free, you know, and before you know it, you're learning, and before you know it, you know how to operate. You know, you're gonna have to give it some time, but if you can wait it out and you're patient and you really want to be here, you'll do it. And I'll say this, Cortez, I learned something from you when I was watching your videos a year ago. And when you're coming here, you used to say, have a strong why. You know, have a strong why, because your why is what's gonna keep you here when you have to deal with, let's just say, the weather. Now, in the month of May, Merida has some of the hottest weather you'll ever experience. But if you're used to living in places like Tampa, Florida, or the South, you know, it's doable. You know what I mean? It's doable. But have a strong reason for why you want to be here, and look at being here as a privilege more than an entitlement. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because this is a privilege, because pretty soon it's going to be very difficult to cross that border, especially with the relations that the United States has with its neighbors and around the world. You're going to see that more and more people are going to be trying to come south of the border, and you'll realize that, you know, getting here is not going to be as easy as it was before. So if you can get here, do it now while you can, while the door is still open. Because soon that door is shutting, and it's shutting very quickly. I just seen it with the process. So if you're gonna go, you gotta make the move now. I recommend it because I watch the news every day, and that door is getting really, really tight.
Yeah.
Really tight.
Very, very. Man, you shared a lot of information. What were some of the challenges, if any, that you had when you first got here trying to adjust and adapt? Were there any?
Yes, so we'll be realistic. Like any place, there's gonna be challenges that you have to get adjusted to, because when things happen, the first thing that's gonna come to your mind is, well, in America, they did things this way. And you have to realize that you're not in America anymore. And before I go into the negatives, I'm just gonna say this. The positives outweigh the negatives. But there are some things, there are challenges that you have to get adjusted to. One of the things that you're gonna have to get adjusted to is when you move down here is the services. Now here in the Yucatan, you know, you may want a plumber or somebody to, you know, fix your electrical situation, or, you know, connect your whatever. So they may say, I'll be here at 3 o'clock. You know, you'll set an appointment for 3 o'clock. They may not show up till 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30. Or they may show up the next day. And you may say, hey, what's up? You know, I thought you were supposed to be here. Oh, well, you know, my kid had a birthday party. You know, or my wife needed to go grocery shopping. I'll be there tomorrow. And you can't say, well, you need to get here now. You won't, you're gonna be stuck.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And there's, you know, certain situations to where, you know, let's say I had a guy cleaning out my air condition vents. And there was 5 of them he had to do. He did 3 of them and said, I'll be back tomorrow. I didn't hear anything from him. He called me 2 weeks later saying, I'll be there tomorrow. And I'm like, everything good, brother.
Agua de mineral, por favor.
It's fire, Topo Chico.
Sí, sí, sí. Gracias.
I'm good. And I'm like, so.
I'm laughing because the same thing happened to me.
Yes.
He did 3 of them. Mm-hmm. That joke ain't show up for a month later to finish the other 2. I had to call him and remind him. Gracias.
Right. And that's just how, you know,
thank you.
That's just how the majority of them are. Now, they're all not like that.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have to fish around before you get somebody who's actually like, you know, I'll be here, you know, when I say I'm there. But the majority of them, you know, don't hold your breath, you know, but they'll get there. It just may not be on a time where, you know, they say or you say. You see what I'm saying? And don't think chewing them out and wagging your finger at them is going to get it done because them folks will leave you right then and there with your problem. So maybe if you talk sweet to them or whatever, say, listen, man, how about I throw in a few extra pesos if you come here within the next hour? They may move. You know, everything is about, you know, scratching their back a little bit. And that's just the culture here. You know what I mean? If you can rub them right, you know, they'll take care of it. I didn't mean to say it like that.
Kim be living with them jokers, man.
I know, man.
I be like, I think they'll be here when they get here. I'm like, at least when he show up, it gonna be done right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I might have to wait. Well, I'm tired. Oh, she be living.
Yeah.
And she be going off on them. I be like, calm down.
Right.
I'm like, come on. 5 years later, we still going off on these folks.
Right.
And not helping.
And a lot of things here are like on the fly. You know what I mean? You know, like, you know, you may have a landlord that say, you know, we'll sign a contract, you know, on this day, or they may just waive the contract altogether. And a lot of things here are on the fly, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of things that you have to take the initiative on. Like if there's certain issues with your house that, you know, need fixing and your landlord don't, it's nothing for you to go to Home Depot, you know, the things that you need and take care of it. You know what I mean? Because things here are not perfect. You know, there's a lot of things here that are not perfect. But then there's a lot of things in the United States that may seem perfect, but are a headache in the long run.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'll say this, Mexico has like a lot of short fixes that you can make, and it resolves a lot of things. But I realize in the United States, the fixings there are expensive, and there's long-term fixes that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Here in Mexico, it's just a lot of short fixes that if you take care of it, you really don't got to worry about it for a while, or at all.
Yeah, I know my mom, she need to get the air conditioning fixed, and she has some kind of deductible.
Right.
She got to pay like $1,500. The guys that come fix my AC might set me back $35, $40. And it's like, I'd rather have this problem for $35 than $1,500.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you know, she got an issue with her sink. Probably gonna cost $1,000. I can call somebody to fix my sink. It'd be less than $50.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can call the guy to come fix whatever, come fix my toilets. I might be out of $20.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll take these problems any day.
Any day.
You know what I mean?
You know,
$700 for a busted pipe.
You can have somebody clean your house for $5. The whole house. I ran a cleaning company. And I'm looking at my house. My house back in the United States, if I would have had somebody clean it, will run anybody probably about maybe $400 to $500 USD. Here, my same house, I could probably get somebody to do it for $15, $20.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally.
You know,
wow.
Medications, doctor's visits $5. Medications are affordable. Grocery visits, you know, to get groceries are affordable. You know what I mean? Everything's more affordable. Now, to the people here, it may seem expensive.
Yeah.
But if you're coming from the United States, you're like, man, a lot of this stuff is a steal.
Yeah.
You know, because our dollar at this moment still goes a whole lot further than the peso do. You see what I'm saying? U.S. poor is Mexico rich.
I remember Kim needed to get an MRI on her neck. And, you know, in the States, the MRI run you a couple of $1,000.
Right.
You know, I can't remember what the regular rate was here, but we called the place. And then if you can come in between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. in the morning, we do it for $200.
Wow.
Well, we'll be there too.
right. Yes.
You know what I mean? Or you could go on Sunday and get the discount.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is wild.
Yes.
This is crazy.
It is. It's totally a different world. It's totally a different culture. You know, so it's definitely worth it. You know, yes, like we said, you'll have some challenges, like, you know, every now and then electricity may go out.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't stay out for that long. You know what I mean? It'll be one of those things that you kind of get used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is a real, you know, we're not going to sugarcoat this to make it seem like complete paradise, because there are real world things that, you know, you have to deal with. You know what I mean? Like the electricity going out. You know, that happens every now and then. You know, the heat. You know, when we stepped off the plane, man, coming from the United States, that heat hit you like a wall. But the crazy thing is, after about 2-3 weeks, it's like you're out in the heat like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, your skin adapts to it.
Yeah.
You know, there's people who literally come here with arthritis and all sorts of conditions, medical conditions, and they come here to get healed. You know, because the food isn't poisoned like it is in the States. The fruits got seeds in it. You know what I mean? The food is real. The meat is real. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. You know, how much more real, and a lot of the things that are outlawed in the US as far as like with the chips and the candy, you know, they don't add that in the food here in Mexico. And with the bags of chips and the candy, they let you know on the wrapper, on the bag, you know, hey, this is excessive sodium. You know, If you want to buy it, buy it. But we're letting you know this has this much, X, Y, Z. This has so much sugar. They warn you ahead of time, and they don't fill the food up with a lot of the garbage and chemicals and stuff that they do in the United States. The fruits aren't sprayed with poison. The fruits are being grown in your neighbor's tree right there, and you're literally picking them off and putting them in your bag.
Literally.
So if you're looking to eat healthier, like real organic food, you definitely need to come on down here. And you'll realize that your health, you'll lose weight, because you won't be stuffed with so much toxins and chemicals. You know what I mean? You'll be healthier, you'll breathe better, you'll have more energy. You won't be so bloated and so tired all the time. So definitely, it's worth it. I've seen a difference.
Wow.
I've definitely seen a difference.
Man.
I got a story.
Yeah.
My kids used to have hives, bad hives, on their hands, on their arms and the back of their legs.
Uh-huh.
We went to a physician here in Merida on day 4. That lady gave us some medicine. Them hives went away within 48 hours and they haven't been back since.
Whoa.
Literally, I got before, have you seen the before and after pictures?
Yeah.
Literally gone smooth. So the medicine down here actually cures you. Versus the medicine over there that actually, and I'm not trying to say too much, versus the medicine over there that just keeps, that just maintains your sickness. Here, if you want to actually get things taken care of, there's things here that will actually get it taken care of. Now, granted, there may be some things that you may have to go back to the States for. Granted, there may be. But for the majority part, from what I've seen, and I'm only speaking on my experience, the problems that, the medical problems we dealt with in the States, we were able to get fixed here in an affordable and expedient manner.
My. So I take it you ain't leaving.
I would never go back to the United States. And that's a strong statement because a year and a half ago, Mexico was not even on my mind. And I'm looking to, I didn't know how I was gonna buy a house, but I told myself, you know what, I don't know how I'm gonna buy a house, but I'm gonna manage to buy one because I don't wanna raise my kids in a hood.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard I work, no matter how many businesses I opened, no matter how many contracts I got, I just couldn't get out of the hood. Wow. But here in Mexico, me and Carrie, my wife, we used to drive into the affluent neighborhoods. And we used to look at the manicured lawns. We used to look at how peaceful and quiet it was, how much the air smelled. And we would drive out there with our kids, and we would drive out there, and then we have to go back to the ghetto. We'd have to face reality. And we were surrounded by drug addicts and prostitutes and gang members and graffiti on the wall, and thuggery and degeneracy. And that was our life, man. And I was making 6 figures in the hood. But I just couldn't get out because the cost of living just wouldn't allow me to. And when she put me on the U-Card test and I seen those homes and those big houses and those manicured lawns, and I was like, you know what? That's my dream. And an American dream became the Mexican dream, and everything I dreamed about that I could never get in America, I was able to get here.
I remember when I brought you all to the house physically. For the first time. I picked you up from the hotel, did the contract with the landlord, and brought you to the house. You walked around that, you came through the gate, through the Pravada. You were quiet.
Yes.
And then you got in the house, you were walking around the house, and you were quiet. At one point, I thought you were gonna cry.
I was.
It totally blew your mind that this was now your home, within reach, within grasp. Your kids had their own room, and I was taken aback. You know what I mean? I was taken back about your reaction. It was real.
And I'm gonna say this, Cortez, because this is why I say, and this is why your words make sense when you say, if you're gonna come down here, you need to have a strong why.
Yeah.
And my why was very strong. because I was saddled with debt, I was saddled with bills, I was saddled with car payments, I was saddled with insurance, I was saddled with rent, I was saddled with maintaining businesses, I was saddled with all these things. I was saddled with having to live in the ghetto. I was saddled with my worries and concerns that what if something happens to my kids? What if something happens to my wife? You know, what if we get robbed again in our apartment building? What if somebody busts my windows out again for the third time? You know, I can't let my kids, you know, my wife had to literally carry a pistol just to do laundry.
Wow.
You know, just to go to the store, we gotta carry a pistol. Just to go to the mall, we gotta carry a pistol because even at the mall, the Crips and the Bloods are getting into it at the mall.
Wow.
You know, everywhere we go, we gotta carry a pistol because we never know where it's gonna pop off. You know, even when we used to drive all the way to the park in Baldwin Hills, right? That's the Black Beverly Hills, Baldwin Hills. We used to have to drive all the way over there just for my kids to play in the park. And before we knew it, the Peace Stone Bloods started having their meetings over there. They were cool, but even in the good parts, it wasn't safe from the degeneracy that we had to deal with. Even the affluent parts started getting their houses broken in. So there was nowhere to run. But here in this Merida, man, here in Merida, you literally have to leave the state to become a victim of anything.
Wow.
That's why I'm so grateful to be here. That's why when I say I would never go back, I will never, aside of maybe visiting my mother and my sister, I will never go back. This is my home. Because once you come here and you experience the safety and security here, the people, all that stuff, you will say the same thing too. Cartel sound like I'm preaching a sermon today.
Hey,
huh?
brother, go ahead.
I need to put up an offering in a minute, right?
Yeah. Gracias. De nada. Wow.
Yes, man. Once you get down here, man, if you have a strong enough why, man, and you lived what I've lived, and you seen what I've seen in real life, in real time, you'd be like, man, the cost of living, how the people are, the degeneracy that I don't have to deal with anymore. Go back for what? What's there? There's nothing there, especially if you have children. Here, your children can literally, I'm telling you, even if you have small children, your children can literally have a driver come pick them up, bring them from point A to point B, and bring them back. And you don't gotta worry about nobody messing with your kids. You don't gotta worry about all this, you know, somebody kidnapping your kids or somebody robbing you. All the worries that Americans go through. And it took me a while to unwind here.
Yeah.
Because I was so used to being on guard all the time. And it's not perfect, but it's the closest thing to paradise.
Definitely.
It's the closest thing. It's not paradise, but it's damn close. It is damn. I mean, for my life, it's damn close, man.
Man.
Literally.
My. Wow. I'm gonna flip the camera around just so y'all can see.
This is life, man, down here in Progreso Beach in Merida.
It's hard to see the people on the beach, but there's a beach over there. There's people all in the water. There's a Malecone, which is the boardwalk where people just walking all up and down, just enjoying life. And like Gerald said, there ain't nobody out here fighting. I've been here 5 years. I have not seen one single fight.
Right.
I have not heard one single gunshot. Ain't heard nobody getting into it. Just nobody arguing with each other.
Right.
It's just been absolutely amazing. And like he said, this is about as close to paradise as you gonna get. And it's absolutely amazing. And
I'll say this, Cortez, real quick. I want to say this. If you were to see any kind of nonsense in public, I hate to say it, it comes from our people, coming from the States. The natives here, the locals here, they're not on that kind of time. They're not out in public acting a fool. They're not out in, they're not, all the stuff you see in the States, the fighting and all that stuff. If you were ever to see that, and I haven't seen it, but maybe one time I seen our people acting a fool in public, and it's our people, and they bring that. That's why I say, if you're coming on that type of time, don't come down here, man. Don't ruin it for us that's enjoying this, man. Because we don't want people looking at us crazy. We don't want that to be our reputation. People like Cortez have worked hard to represent us well down here, and people down here know him. Like almost everywhere we go, whether it's expats or natives, they know who he is. You see what I'm saying? He's been a good representative of our people, and we get a lot of good, dealings with. We get a lot of people that show us a lot of respect because they feel like everybody is like him. I've got a lot of benefits from being down here because of him, because people think they're all like Cortez. So that's why we say, if you're one of our people, or if you're somebody else, if you're just an American or a Canadian, period, don't come down here and bring the nonsense, because the people down here, they're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to live. They want to make an honest wager, and they just want respect, and they give respect as well. So,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They like it peaceful, and we like to keep it that way too.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but I want to re-emphasize. They speak Spanish here.
Yes.
They speak Spanish.
Yes.
But we've had people come here. Literally, I mean, you don't realize you have to tell grown folks this, but they come here and they are yelling and screaming at the waitress or the host or the business manager or the office manager, demanding that they need to speak to somebody who speaks English. I don't understand what you're saying. I need to talk to somebody who speaks English. You're in Mexico. They speak Spanish. I mean, when you bought that plane ticket, you knew you was coming to a foreign country. And, and I understand you can be frustrated because you don't speak the language, but when you start demanding, acting entitled, you know what I mean? It doesn't work in your favor, and it makes you look bad. It makes us look bad. You know what I mean? So understand that. And those are just, I mean, there's so much nonsense that I've seen where foreigners coming here just being entitled, doing crazy things. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But the people here are very patient. They're very welcoming, and they will accommodate you, but you got to bring the respect with it, 100%. Man, it was good, brother.
Yeah, I believe so too, man.
I appreciate you.
I think I put out a lot of information, especially with my experience, and I hope it's helpful.
Now, your wife, and I just want to plug his wife in a little bit, just in case. She did your immigration. A lot of people come and, they hire an attorney to do paperwork with immigration and all that. Your wife did all the immigration paperwork.
Right.
She's from Mexico originally, speaks Spanish, and she's very resourceful. She researches. She goes and finds things. A lot of people need help getting their electric turned on. When they buy houses, they need services turned on. She offers translation services, and she will help you do all of that stuff. So if you all need assistance with anything, feel free to reach out to us on the website, and I'll definitely pass her information on to you all. And again, she has a business. Her services, they have a cost. A lot of times people get confused and think that, hey, because she's very nice, and people get the mistake that we're friends. You know what I mean? But it's a business, it's a service, and you got to pay. My wife went to, when we was looking for a neurosurgeon to do my wife's surgery, we found that we can get the best rate if we dealt directly with a local physician, because sometimes you can find these physicians that speak English, or multiple languages, And generally with that, you gonna pay a little extra. You know, so we found a doctor, you know, he didn't speak English very well. So we use his wife's services to translate for us. And we hang out, but I respect what she did for us. I respect her service. She provided a service. I respect the service that she provided. And we pay. You know what I mean? Even though we hang out and go places together, business is business. I will have to pay somebody else. So if I call her, I'm gonna pay her. You know, so I just want to put that out there. You know what I mean? Let's not get the lines crossed. You know, it's a fine line. She goes over the top. She does more than what you asked for. You know, just make sure
Definitely.
she gets paid and compensated for her time. And she, very nice lady. You know what I mean? So if y'all need any assistance with immigration or whatever, you know, contact her, and like I said, I'll pass on her information to you all, and she'll make sure you get taken care of. Any final words of wisdom? Any final things you want to say? Anything?
I have no regrets. You know, I feel like I've just started to live. You know what I mean? And you know, and part of being here is once you get here, you know, get involved. You know, find something to keep yourself occupied. As far as, you know, get into a community center. You know,
Keep going.
get some classes. You know, take some Spanish classes. You know,
Hey, I'm
see
doing
how you
an
can
interview.
volunteer in the
I'll hit you
community.
back.
You know what I mean? Because once you get down here, you know, there's a lot to do. There's a whole lot to do, you know, and, you know, aside of, you know, visiting different places, you know, make some friends, you know, make some connections. It's all doable. And find out how you can contribute to, you know, whatever pueblo or city that you're living in, you know, because it's always welcomed, you know. But if you're straddling the fence or whether or not you should come down here, just look at what's going on in the news right now. Look at where the price of, you know, groceries and, you know, the cost of goods and rent and, you know, just being able to have access to goods with everything that's going on with the United States' relations with the rest of the world suppliers, you know? And I would say if you're going to make the move, do it now before it's too late, because the doors are shutting, and they're shutting quicker every single day with every move that's being made between the United States and Iran and between the United States and other countries. That door is shutting quicker than you'll ever believe. And by then it'll be too late and they won't be allowing anybody to cross over.
Absolutely.
And I have sources that says that. I can't reveal those sources, but just trust me when I say that. I'm down here definitely for a reason.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. And, you know, hey, if y'all need to hop on the phone, want to talk and discuss a strategy for getting you down here, you know, make sure you hit the website, moveabroadandthrive.com, book a consultation. We have a VIP section on the website as well, where you can ask questions and get feedback from other members. There's a section on there called Ask Cortez. You can ask all the questions you want. You can post there. I'll get back to you within 72 hours. And we're here to assist you and help you make this transition. And, you know, and again, a lot of this stuff you can do on your own, but there's a lot of people who want the extra hand holding
Cortez is worth it.
and help.
And real quick, I don't mean to. No, especially when you're moving to a foreign country, you need boots on the ground. You know what I mean? Yes, you can do it by yourself, but you know, who do you call when you need the internet turned on? You know, who do you call when, you know, you need advice on, you know, and the thing about Cortez is he can give you insider advice on what to put your what to set your air conditioner to so you don't pay so much in electricity bill. You know, you need somebody who's literally lived here that can help you navigate the small little tiny things, because when you move to a different country, it's going to be 1,000 little things that you didn't think of. It's like, oh my God, you know, how do I, you know, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it helps to have somebody that's connected, you know, that can say, all right, what are you looking for? You looking for furniture? You looking for a refrigerator? You know, you looking for what's the best TV? You got me a TV. You looking for what, what's the best, this or that, with clothes, fruits, when you get that consultation, you get that. You pay for that, and it's been worth every dime, and I would pay for it over again if I had to, because now that I'm here and I look back, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to solve on my own. Even my wife, who's from Mexico, even she had to call you to say, hey, call Cortez, what do we do about this? What do we do about that? So you need somebody on your side, because it can get very, very overwhelming if you're down here by yourself and you don't got nobody to call and you don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It can get very scary really quick. So it's definitely worth it. I recommend that.
Thank you.
I recommend it.
And and a lot of times people will say, "Man, your services are so expensive," and
it's worth it.
And I'm like, you have no idea what you about to walk into.
Right.
I'm not trying to get money from you per se, and it's not about the money, because once you hire us, I make sure you're good.
Right.
After you move into your house, you can call me 90 days later. Hey, Cortez, I need a doctor.
I still call you, and it's a year later.
Yeah, exactly.
So Kurt, I gotta say, Kurt, I don't mean to cut you off.
You good.
No, I mean, because you just, the longer you live here, the more things you'll realize that will pop up.
Yeah.
That in the United States you may have been able to take care of, but here, because you're here, whether it's dealing with immigration, he's got connection to immigration services. He's got connections to, visa services, people who handle all that stuff. If you're looking to buy a home, he can show you different homes. He can connect you to real estate, lawyers and agents, if you want to get your internet turned on, if you're trying to order a pizza and you don't know, you can't communicate, he can get you a translator. You see, it's small little intricate things that, you think you're paying him is expensive, but you realize, damn, I need him for this, and I gotta call him. It's the fact that you got somebody to call.
That's the key.
What overwhelms a person is, I don't have nobody to call.
Yeah.
I'm in a foreign country. I don't speak the language. I don't got nobody to call.
Yeah.
So you may think he's expensive, but when you got somebody to call, you be like, man, I'm glad I did it.
I'm glad I did it, because I know when I lived in Colombia, trying to talk to people and get information from them forums, it might take 3 days to get an answer. But then later on, I ended up paying this couple for a consultation. I just needed the contact. I can call them, I can write them a message, text them, and get instant information. I couldn't wait 3 days to find out what doctor I need to go talk to. You know what I mean? And so like you say, you're paying for access, and just to make sure you're taken care of. I don't want y'all to get out here and get stuck, because things happen. I had a lady, she was in a car accident. I met her at the hospital. Didn't charge her. If you a client of mine and you need to go to the hospital, I'm gonna take you to the hospital if you in Merida. Now, if you in Cancun, that's another story. You know what I'm saying? But I'm probably taking 10 people to the hospital. Till they bed. They done had emergencies. They were scared to go to the hospital by themselves because they didn't know the language. They were fearful of, man, I don't know how to talk to these folks. I don't know how to explain my situation. And I might drag Haley with me, or I might go by myself. My Spanish is strong enough to get by with a conversation. But we'll go to the, I had at least 10 people go to the hospital.
Nobody else is gonna do that for you.
Nobody's gonna do that for you. Once the services are done, it's done with them.
Most services, once you're here, that's it.
It's a wrap. They ain't taking you to the hospital. Things pop up. Had a lady I took to the airport the other day, client of mine. Got to know her pretty well, just very gracious. She was like, I'm going home for a few months. I took her to the airport, and she was like, how much do you charge me? I'm like, I ain't charging you nothing. I said, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? And, but yeah, there's so many little nuances that you just don't think about. And you only think about them when they pop up, and you got to get on the phone or write me in a message, and I'll follow back up. I give you an answer. So that's what you're paying for. You're not just paying for the service itself, but you're getting a whole lot more that come behind the scenes that you are not aware of. You know, so feel free, you know, again, reach out to us. We'll be glad to talk to you about our services and assist you in any way we can. Like I said, we've been here 5 years so far. We've seen it all. We've seen it all.
And he ain't going nowhere either, because I know, and I'm gonna tell you something about Cortez. When you get down here, man, I mean, you feel secure with Cortez. And when Cortez was talking about leaving, everybody's like, oh hell no. You know what I mean? So if you're his client and you're down here, man, you always got family down here.
Yeah.
You got somebody that's gonna have your back through thick and thin. And you may look at the fees and say, wow, but you know what, you're getting family. You're getting somebody who's gonna have your back. And that's rare when you're in another country, man.
Yeah.
Because usually when you go to another country, you're on your own.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think a lot of people leave just because of small little things.
Right.
And sometimes you need somebody in your ear. You know, there's a lady, not just one, but this is I probably dealt with this 20 or 30 times. They were getting ready to leave. And I was like, why are you leaving? Well, I don't think this, I feel this. And I'm like, you listening to you? I said, why did you come? We go back to that why. And I got to get in their head and let them know that the feelings that they're feeling, they real.
Right.
I said, but you about to make an emotional decision right now.
Right.
You need to let this ride out. I think what you feeling is normal. Once people realize that the feelings that they have is normal, and that other people are having the same feeling, they second guessing themselves, they're having these doubts, they're wondering why. But if you have somebody in your ear letting you know it's normal, and you can hold out just a little longer, they generally stick around a little longer.
That's what happened with us. You know, that's why, because Carrie, she was like, man, I miss Los Angeles. I'm having dreams about being back where I used to be. And then, after that 90 days, after that 3 months, she started realizing that she had a whole community that if she had to go back to Los Angeles, she would miss being here. So, it's always that stage to where when you're here within the first 3 months, you're missing home, you're thinking about home, you're thinking about how things used to be back home, you're missing the places you used to go. But then it's gonna come that day to where you wake up, you're gonna go to the places you go to, you developed a life here, you're going here, you're going there, you got friends, you got community. And if you had to go back to the States, you'd be like, man, I miss Merida. I miss the fruiteria. I miss the guy who used to pick up my laundry. I miss talking to my neighbor right here. I miss how I used to talk to my neighbor so-and-so and, going here and going there. And, you're going to, trust me, you'll get through that phase.
You will.
But you just got to stand. You just got to stick it out. And trust me, if you can stick it out, you won't regret it.
You won't regret it.
You won't regret it. You're going to say, man, this is home.
Absolutely.
This is home.
Absolutely. Well, it's a great place, and I don't even know why I was thinking about leaving. But
we're glad you're staying.
Got slapped back in my face and realized, I was like, man, I go through these phases, but the place, man, it's paradise. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, I really can't complain.
Right.
It's the people are beautiful, the city's beautiful, opportunities are endless.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'll take this any day, So, hey, thank y'all for watching. Hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends. Hit the like button, and hey, we'll catch you on the other side.